In fact, they ingrained Section 125 into us so much that the back of our business cards used to have the $1,000 example printed on them so we could communicate how to do tax savings with an employee. I had no idea that I needed to be a CPA, but I quickly figured out I needed to know what pre-taxing was. Does everybody know what I'm talking about who's been here that long?
Yeah.
I like that on that.
Right? And the best part about pre-taxing in Section 125 was it made our life easy, because I would walk through the door of a business, I would knock on their door, and I would ask one simple question: are you pre-taxing your health insurance? And they typically gave me one of two answers: yes I am, no I'm not. If they weren't pre-taxing their health insurance, I just asked, hey, if I could pre-tax it for you and save you on your FICA, save you a couple thousand, maybe a couple tens of thousands depending on your size, would you want to hear more? And their answer was always, absolutely. If I said, are you pre-taxing your health insurance? And they said, yes, I am, what was my next question?
Aflac works perfectly.
How much are you paying someone to do your pre-taxing? $10,000? Well, if I can do it for free, can I have 15 minutes of your time? What was I doing for the business?
Saving them
I was saving them money. Here's a little secret. If you save a business money, they want to work with you. Now that was 12 years ago. Our markets changed, our conversations changed, businesses have changed quite a bit, but the secret has not changed. If you help a business and show them value, they'll want to work with you. See, the problem was 12 years ago, we had extreme value. We would come through the door and we would save them thousands of dollars, and we took all of the administrative side of it on us. We took care of all of that, and they loved us for it. What happened was, over time, other companies, CPA firms, benefit companies, brokerages, they got smart. They noticed that Aflac was doing Section 125 for free, and it was huge. So they said, okay, we're gonna start doing it for free also. Now, they didn't tell you that the increase in their hourly fee was to make up for Section 125, but on paper, they were doing it for free. We kind of lost our competitive advantage in that arena because we did our job so well, everybody started pre-taxing. The other reason why it wouldn't work today is because if I go knock on a door today, there's a very good chance that business doesn't offer benefits. And if I knock on a door and say, are you pre-taxing your health insurance? They may come back with health insurance. We haven't had health insurance in 3 years. So what happened was, around 2008, when the recession hit, and businesses started cutting back, and they started eliminating benefits, and they started cutting out what they were doing for their employees, they started cutting out things like FSAs, dependent daycare, and what we were doing to save them money. And then all we were left with was our product. And see, we thought that businesses loved us for our product. We thought employers loved Aflac for what we did for the employees. We didn't really want to admit they loved us because we saved them $10,000, and that was it. When it was all said and done and all that was left was our product, now we became a vendor. And being a vendor is a very scary place to be, because if you're a vendor, there are always vendors out there trying to either offer a product that pays more or offer a product that costs less. How many of you right now in your existing accounts, you feel like a vendor? And it's time for open enrollment. Okay, we'll put you in the basement in a room nobody knows about. We'll put a post-it note on the wall that says Aflac's here for 45 minutes. If you want to meet with them, you can. It's a Saturday. Christmas Eve. Yeah? You've all been there, right? Here's what we've become. We've become Girl Scout cookies. Hey, I want to show what we have to your employees. Okay, but can you set up outside, off to the side? Yeah. And don't bother them, by the way, as they're walking through the door. You can politely ask them if they're interested, but don't badger them. And if they buy Thin Mints from you, put them in the freezer, because that's the only way you should eat Thin Mints. And if you don't, I don't want you on the team. And if you learned anything today, you put Thin Mints in the freezer. You're welcome. I know. You're gonna learn a lot from me. This is so far the best
What do
training
you do
we've
with the
ever had.
tagalongs?
They don't even make the fridge.
We're gonna take it to the next level. Instead of Hershey's, use Reese cups in your s'mores. There you go. Now I didn't get to be like this just by accident. So we've become vendors. We've become a nuisance to these companies. And the problem with being a vendor is they look for reasons to get rid of us. They're waiting for something to go wrong, because there's no business reason for us to be there. It's more of a nicety. See, I talk a lot about needs versus wants. And I want to talk about you guys. So what's something you need but you don't, or what's something you want but you don't need? Think of a big purchase. Something you want but you don't need.
A motorhome.
Jewelry? Anything specific, or you just
Diamonds.
Okay, diamonds.
A motorhome.
A motorhome?
Yeah.
Do you have one and you want a newer one, or do you want one?
No, I want one.
Okay. Who else?
Boat.
A boat? Okay. Like fishing, skiing, living, all the above. You want a boat on the boat?
Boat on the boat, on the boat,
Nice.
with a sub to go with it.
There you go.
I want a man with a
Yeah, I
tool
want
belt
nice.
around his waist.
Ah.
Depending on how you want quality to be, that may not be that
I used to
expensive.
want one that had major medical too, but I got that now, so.
What else, other than male prostitution, what else do you guys? What else? Who wants a new car? Do you need one, or do you just want one?
Yes.
No, you need one sometimes.
Sometimes.
A lot, it's a matter of wanting, instead of driving the Sonic, you're driving the Escalade.
Okay. Anybody want to take a trip? I'm not talking like an Affleck vacation. I'm talking one of those other vacations where, you know, it's just you, just your spouse, just your kids. What else? Like
Italy, I wanna go to Italy.
Italy. Okay.
Buy a house on the islands.
Not the primary home, but the secondary home for when this happens.
Yep.
You know? I want a hot tub. I've wanted one for a long time. Just putting it out there. I've priced it. I've got the spot picked out.
Medium format camera.
Okay. Why don't you get it then? Other than you. Why? I don't want your answer. I don't want your answer. Why don't you go to
I need
Italy?
a medium format camera.
Cause I haven't, put a plan in motion.
Okay. Why don't you buy the boat?
I don't need it.
Why don't you have the new car?
Cost, need, want.
So my wife and I 2 years ago decided that for the first time in our life since college, we were gonna pay off our credit card debt. We did the math, we added it all up, we looked at what it would cost to pay it off over the whole amount of time versus paying it off earlier. We got really aggressive, and in about a year and a half, with $750 a month payments, we paid off all of our credit card debt. This was about a year and a month ago that we paid it all off. Saved $750 a month. Now picture in your mind, if right now, starting now, you had an extra $750 a month, what you would do with it. Because that's what I was doing. Hot tub pays for itself pretty quickly when you have an extra $750 a month set aside. 2 days after I wrote the last payment out from our credit card debt, our furnace catches on fire.
Oh, no.
You wanna know how much a new furnace, air conditioner, heat pump costs?
5,000.
If it caught on fire, you should go with your property owner's insurance. You should file that as a claim for your property and no
10
owner's
grand.
insurance.
Wow,
Try
that's
it.
cheap. Good for you.
10 grand. Here's the good news, they let me make 12 equal payments interest-free of $795. Fortunately, I just freed up $750 a month, so coming up with an extra 40 wasn't that hard. We wrote the last check to pay off our furnace at the beginning of this last December, just a month ago. Back to even, I've got my $750 back. My wife, 13 months ago, decides she wants to have a third kid. I didn't. So we compromised and had a third kid. That's marriage.
Not a bad compromise.
That's marriage. Nora is 90 days old right now. She just turned 3 months. And she's going to daycare for the first time this week. Guess how much daycare costs? It's a lot more than $750.
Serious?
Believe me. What's my point? Still want a hot tub. But needs will always trump wants. Now sometimes the need becomes from a want. Sometimes you want a car, but what? My car's paid off. It runs just fine, and then it breaks down. And then the cost to fix it isn't worth it, so I'd rather put that money down for a down payment and get a new car. It becomes a need. See, I bring this up because businesses are going through this right now. Business owners are sitting at their desk working on one thing. What are they working on?
Bottom line.
Cutting costs.
Payroll.
Look, keep going.
Payroll.
Payroll, cutting costs, what else? What else are they working on? If I walked up to a random business owner
Reducing
sitting at their
healthcare
desk, say it again?
Reducing healthcare.
Reducing healthcare costs, reducing the implementation of the healthcare, the management of it, what else?
Big one right now, currently, is actually, two things. One is getting new employees, and two, keeping your existing employees.
Okay, so they're searching monster.com right now, looking at
I can't,
resumes.
I keep getting calls left, right, and sideways from companies.
Okay.
Looking to hire me.
Okay. What else are they doing?
And I'm not even searching, I don't have anything out there. That's the
Downsizing.
scary thing.
Okay, so they're doing performance reviews, picking employees that need to go. What else?
And they're bringing back employees that they can contract with as opposed to employees that they hire
Okay,
with the benefits.
so they may also be changing their business model in that regard.
Figuring out how to create more value.
Okay.
Companies are using-
So maybe they're working on their marketing plan, maybe they're working on acquiring new customers, maybe they're working on rebranding themselves. Sure, what else?
They're getting-
Which could be derived from all kinds of things. What are they working on?
Making money.
They're working on their needs.
Keeping the doors
Would
open.
you agree?
Mhm.
Whatever they're working on is what they need to be working on. My question is, how often does Aflac position itself as a want? And how often do we position ourselves as a need? How often do you find it hard at the end of the employer presentation, whether it's an open enrollment or it's a brand new company, how hard is it to create a sense of urgency? How hard is it at the end for them to look you in the eye and say, how quickly can we do this? Like every now and then it happens, and it ruins us when it does, because we're like, this should happen every time, I don't get it. And it's our fault. We didn't create sense of urgency because we sold Aflac as a want. Do you ever hear a business owner at the end of your presentation say no? Do you ever show them Aflac and they go, no, we don't want it?
Yeah, that happened.
Does it happen often?
No.
I wish it would happen. Like, I would rather you tell me no than string me along. It's high school dating all over again. Just tell me no. Come on. Quit giving me 5-digit phone numbers. Joke. They're all like, oh, he really was a geek. I got married, so I'll never let her go because it's a statistical anomaly that I did. So we sell ourselves as a want, and what happens at the end of our employer presentation is we hear this. That looks good. Call me next year. I mean, it's the end of the year, we're real busy right now. Why don't you call me in February? It looks good. I tell you what, call me after the holidays. Call me when school's out. Call me when school's back in session. We got an election coming up. Let's wait to see who gets hired on as president. You know what? The holidays are around the corner. We hear stories. And you know what the stories are really telling us? Not interested. And it's not that they don't want it. They may want it. They may say, you know what? Yes, slot that in down there on the 22nd thing that I want to do for my business, right below my needs. Just like the hot tub. I'll tell you all day long that I want a hot tub. And if a door-to-door salesman comes along right now that sells hot tubs, they're gonna hear the same thing from me. You know what? Call me back in a couple years. Because as soon as my daughter gets out of daycare and into school, and I'm no longer paying those outrageous fees for daycare and I'm only paying for lunches, I'll have money then. And guess what happens when that salesman comes back 3 years later?
Other priorities.
Now my
As
daughter
far as
wants,
school love.
now my daughter wants to go to college, right? And that starts kicking in. There's always gonna be a different need. So I change my conversation. Because if I walk through the door and talk about wants, then I'm gonna get stories all day long. If I talk about needs, then I'm gonna hear, how quickly can we do this? Now, this is a mind shift for us, because we, as a company, have been focused on Aflac being a product for the employee. That's it, that's what we are. We provide something the employees need to protect their income in the event that they're sick or hurt. The big difference is before, when we said that, we also said, and I can pre-tax your health insurance and save you tens of thousands of dollars. And all they heard was pre-tax health insurance save me money. Oh, you've got products too? That's cute. Yeah, you can offer those also. Today we walk through the door of a business and they know exactly who we are. Let's be honest. The economy, the businesses today know who Aflac is. We're a company that offers products to the employees. And that's where we get shut out. Because employers say, I don't do benefits, we don't need this, or I'm working on something else, yeah, call me back in a year when maybe then it'll help me out. But if they're working on benefit administration right now, and I have an online system that will bring in a way for them to reduce their open enrollment and take it from 90 days to 45 days, and I can save them $16,000 on open enrollment costs by shortening their timeline, well, if I save them money, you think they're interested? If they're having a hard time scanning resumes because they can't figure out who the right candidate is for their company, because all the top candidates keep telling them no, because they don't offer benefits, then how do we attract and retain those top candidates versus having to hire the people at the bottom of the resume list because they're the only ones that say yes? If I'm constantly losing employees because I work in an industry where everybody pays the same amount of money and everybody does the same thing. So when the guy across the street offers 50 cents more an hour to do the same job that you're doing here and they leave, how do I keep myself from constantly training employees every week? Every week I'm training a new hire. What's the problem with new hires? They're volatile and they have the most accidents. So that
And
costs
they're the most
me.
expensive.
They are. It'll cost you 20% of an employee's salary to replace them. And if you're replacing an employee once a month, then you're just flushing money away. So now it's not about a product that pays cash to your employees. It's about a solution to help you plug the hole that is your sinking ship, or a solution to reduce your costs when it comes to open enrollment, or a solution to help you understand healthcare reform so you're no longer spending your time looking at it. See, I just look at things a little bit differently. When a business starts up today, so I decide that I want to start my own business, I need two things. I need a way to get paid from my customer, and I need a way to pay my employees. Now, what are my options in getting paid? How can I tell my customers that they can pay me? What's that?
Offer them service or product? Or
No, I mean like physically get the money from them. What are-
Cash credit.
Cash?
Yeah.
Credit?
Invoice?
Billing.
Invoice? Can I be a cash only business?
Yeah.
Does it hurt me?
Yeah.
Why?
Most people don't have.
Because people don't have cash. You ever go up to a restaurant and there's a sign that says cash only, you're like, well, we're not eating there. What's the problem with getting checks?
Then you'll never go anyplace.
I don't know if we trace them if they
Bounce
want.
checks, trace them, it's one more step in the process, now I gotta go to the bank and do all the deposits. Is credit a good option?
Depending on the card, of
Oh, so
what
you-
your costs are.
So what do? I'm a brand new business, and today I wanna start collecting money from people, what do? I get one of those little scanners for my phone, are those free?
Nope.
How much do they charge?
2.75%.
It's 1 to 3% depending on the transaction and which card you use. Is it worth it?
Depends on your volume.
Depends on your-
Probably worth it, because if I'm cash only, I'm gonna eliminate customers that won't wanna do business with me. So, am I willing to take an investment to get money? Sure. Now I gotta pay my employees, what are my options? I can write them all checks, is that a good system?
Direct deposit.
I can do direct deposit, I can hire a payroll company, what's the problem with hiring a payroll company? I mean, I'm just getting started and already I'm paying more in fees than I'm making on profit. So what do most business owners do? They walk into Sam's Club, they go to the software aisle, and what do they buy?
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks. Everybody knows that, right?
Mhm.
How many of you have never ever used QuickBooks ever in your life? But you all know that QuickBooks is what you should use. Like, it's a universal truth that if I say you need a way to manage your employees' payroll on your own, you're gonna go, well, I'm gonna go buy QuickBooks. How much is QuickBooks?
$200-300.
It's about 600 if you get the version that's nice. Is it worth it?
Mhm.
It's cheaper than hiring a payroll company.
Everyone teaches you how to use it.
Actually,
That's when I would
in
need
the
the
first
computer
first
to do that.
first few weeks, they'll do the training for you. They'll go sit down and talk you through it for the first 90 days.
Now, let me ask you this. If Everwell were sitting right next to QuickBooks at Sam's Club when employers buy it? No.
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
You think so? You say no. Why do you say no?
Cause they're not familiar, QuickBooks is a brand, they're familiar, they know what works.
You say QuickBooks, I know exactly what it is. You say Everwell, most of the room doesn't know what that is.
You have the duck on it, it's gonna, you won't be able to keep it on the shelves.
Depends on one thing. What's it depend on? Price. See, this is the difference in Everwell, and this is why I share this with you guys. So, when we went from paper to Smart App, it was a huge shift, right? Our company was going a completely different direction in terms of how to enroll. Then we went from Smart App to S&G, and people flipped out because S&G was so much different than Smart App. And then we came out with Everwell, and man, you thought it was crazy when Trump got elected. Imagine going from S&G to Everwell. It was twice as bad. Way more looting at the same time. The problem with Everwell is that we try and sell to you Everwell as an enrollment tool. If I compare Everwell to S&G as an enrollment tool, which one wins?
S&G.
Why?
We know it.
It's good.
We all know it.
Familiar, it's intuitive.
It's just simpler.
It's simpler.
And you don't have to pray the internet doesn't go down and you have to go through the stuff.
You don't have to register.
Then you start all over again.
I run a very high risk in asking that question, so the pitchforks didn't come out, so I'm okay. I'm gonna stop you there. Here's the reason why. The reason why S&G will always win over Everwell as an enrollment tool is because you're more familiar with it. That's it. It is comfort and nothing more. I can sit down right next to you, two brand new computers, nothing on them, and I can have a group put in, set up, and the first employee signed up for an accident plan before you. Because I've done it enough and I've practiced it enough to get fast. Just like your first time on S&G watching your district do it, they like sneezed and the person was enrolled. And you're like, wait, what just happened? I blinked and they have an accident plan. And they're like, let me teach you about the tab button. And then you're like, I'll never, remember saying this, I'll never be that fast. And now like you can do it in your sleep. You wake up in the middle of the night tabbing. You're like, oh, nightmare again. I can do that in Everwell and I can be faster in Everwell. I can. It's not about that though. It is never going to be about how quickly you can enroll someone. I think there is such a thing as too fast. Sometimes we ruin the conversation by trying to get through it too quickly. But that's not my point. My point is we will always, always, always go to what makes us comfortable. We are creatures of habit, and the thing we prefer is comfort zones. This is why some of you are still using the same operating system you've used for 10 years. It keeps saying, you want to upgrade to Windows 10? And you're like, no, I don't. Stop trying to live my life.
My S&G unit. Can I do it with my S&G unit yet?
Windows 10?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's the problem.
We go with what we're comfortable with. Some of you have driven the same model of car for years because you're comfortable with it. The Kroger next to me just rearranged itself and now it's backwards. And I'm like,
Shop somewhere else.
what are you doing to me? Like, I should walk in and be able to pick up a tomato. No, I don't know why the deli is right there in front of me. This is all wrong.
They do that because
I don't need the reason why.
We don't know
Don't
the
try
reason
and
why.
sell me on it.
they try to make you look for everything, so you buy new stuff and you're not buying the same stuff.
Don't you hate that though?
I do.
Yes.
Don't you hate when you get a new
It
remote
doesn't
control
work though, actually.
and all the buttons are different?
And you have to use two to turn the TV on and off, change the channel.
Yep,
2 remote controls.
yep. Don't you hate when your new car, even though you love your new car, doesn't have the feature or moves the feature to a different side? Don't you hate when the iPhone or whatever phone you use has an update and then all of a sudden they rearrange your apps and you're like, no. Like, I'm not OCD, but I gotta knock on the door 3 times because this is really messing me up. We are creatures of habit, so S&G will always win out because you're more comfortable with it. And for you to get good at Everwell is gonna take time and commitment. It's like running a race. You're never gonna hop on a treadmill, set it to 6, and just run like a gazelle. You are for about 13 seconds, and then you're gonna be like, okay, that's enough for this month. I'm just gonna stand here and watch the Food Network. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna show you something different. I'm gonna show you Everwell no longer as an enrollment tool. If that's all I do, if all I do is show it to you as an enrollment tool, you'll never switch. What I wanna do is show you how Everwell solves the employer's problems. And so if I can use Everwell to solve an employer's problems, here's a couple keys for you to take away. One, Who cares how long it takes me to enroll an employee? The owner never complained that we took an extra 15 minutes to enroll independent daycare and FSAs. The owner never cared that we were meeting with every single employee every single year and setting up their pre-taxing, right? So who cares if I need 20, 30 minutes per employee if I'm bringing value? Now, if I'm a vendor, get in and get out. Don't take up too much time. But if I'm a business partner, take all the time you need. The one thing missing there is trust. See, in Everwell, and I'll show you this at the end, I started playing around with it. And I was like, okay, what can Everwell do? Other than enroll employees, what can Everwell do? And I started looking at the data that Everwell had the capability of capturing. And I started hearing the #1 complaint about Everwell. And this was in Indiana. And I'm trying to push Everwell, and I kept getting the same complaint. What was the #1 complaint agents were telling me about Everwell? What was the hardest part?
The freaking census.
The
Sorry,
census.
the census.
I heard
Which
F.
has freaked me out.
That's all I heard.
The freaking census.
The
yeah.
census. And I was misinformed. I thought the problem was we weren't used to asking for a census. Like it was a skill set. It was, we're just not normally asking for census data. And then I realized that's not it. What was the problem with the census information?
Didn't matter. Template.
What was the hardest part about the census? You'd ask
Getting
for
it
it.
to work?
You'd ask for the census and then what?
Oh, getting it.
Oh,
They don't
no
have it.
response, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Especially
never
on
know, right.
smaller than the 20-man company.
They didn't have a
Yeah.
census. Hey, I need all of your employees' data. Wait, like home addresses, birthdays,
Yeah.
hire dates, all that? Yeah. Okay, well, here's Steve's resume, and I got a social security number over here, and I realized something. These businesses have a need. They're disorganized. Does that cost them money? Does that put them at risk?
Yeah.
Right? When their only census information is a phone directory thumbtacked to the front desk and it's got everything on their personal information, that runs you a risk. The other thing it costs you is time. And here's a little secret. If you can save a business time or money, they'll love you, and time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, you can't make more time. How many times does a business sit on a beach on vacation, call the administrator, Stephanie may be guilty of this, call the administrator, hey, there's a file, 3rd drawer down on the left of my desk, I need you to grab it, scan it, email it to me, I gotta read this guy's resume one more time. How much time does that take? A lot more than it should. Why is it that way? Because we're not in a secure site where I can access everything. So I started looking at Everwell and saying, okay, Everwell can house home addresses, work addresses, birth dates, hire dates, social security numbers, files. It can house qualifying events, marriages, births, deaths, divorces. It can house spousal information, kids information. You know one of the most cumbersome parts of getting a health quote? Getting the health insurance company all of that data because you don't have it. So now it turns into a 3-week project where Stephanie reaches out to her coordinator and says, you gotta go out and get a hold of everyone and get all of their spouse and kids information. And when do you need it by? Yesterday. Well, it's gonna take me at least 3 weeks because people are gonna call me back. They gotta look up their wife's birthday. Then they have to buy flowers because they asked their wife what their birthday was. Versus, I can do that for you. See, I'm gonna show you at the very end how this is not a fit for certain businesses, but it is a fit for the majority of businesses. So in my employer presentation, existing account or new account, what's the typical question they ask you every year? What's new? I'm glad you asked. We have a new accident plan that costs more than the last one. Oh, what are they really asking you? What's new that I should care about? And so existing accounts, new accounts, I do the same thing. We're more employer focused in 2017 than we've ever been before. In fact, the main initiative we just rolled out is an employee management system for you. Would you like to see it? And then I pull it up. I actually will pull it up right there in their office, and I've already pre-built their group to show it to them. Now, secret motive, I'm gonna teach you a trick. Part of the reason I pull it up is so I can test that their internet works in their company. And then as I'm building the system, one of the things I need is access to their network. So if I can plug directly into your wall versus connecting to Panera Bread across the street, I know that I'm not gonna have glitches in my enrollment when it comes to internet speed. And for those of you that try and use the excuse the internet's poor in that area, I just had a company a year ago when I first was testing this out that rented out a banquet room and brought everybody food in because the internet wasn't good in his business, but he wanted this system for himself. So he shuttled all his employees a mile down the street, bought them lunch, and we did it all on site where internet was available. If they want it, they'll find a way to make it work. So I show the business owner Everwell, but it's not an enrollment tool. I don't even show him the side of the employees enrolling in product. What I do is I show how the data is locked in an online server where you can keep track of all your employees' information. And now if you're sitting on a beach in Mexico on vacation and you need to grab a resume, log in right there from your phone. You no longer have to worry about somebody's resume on your desk where somebody could walk by and go, okay, so that's what you're gonna pay that guy? That's what his salary is gonna be? No longer do performance reviews need to be in a file cabinet where if your business burns down or if someone grabs it, no longer do you need birth certificates, divorce, marriage certificates, termination letters just out where anybody can get a hold of them. Now what I want you to do is scan them, upload them to Everwell, and shred them. Hand that birth certificate right back and say, here, I'm done with it, you take it home. And now your entire business is digital and online. How much time and money did I just save this business? And you gotta think, I'm talking about the 5, 10, 15, 20 man companies that can't afford an admin, can't afford a CFO, can't afford an HR department, and they're trying to do this on their own, but they're doing it in a very, very inefficient way. So I just give them a tool and resource, and normally by the end of me showing them Everwell, what's the question they ask?
How much does it cost?
How much does it cost? Which they're telling you what?
You want it.
They're willing to what?
Pay for it.
They're willing to pay for it. And you know what? We get more employer contributions going that route, because at the end of it, I say the system is absolutely free to you. The only thing I need is to build it for you. I don't need an open enrollment with your employees. I need to build the system for you. To build the system for you, I need your employees one at a time. Have them bring in their resumes, have them bring in their personal data, have them bring in spouse and kids information so that we can put it all in the system for you. And now a year from now, if you want to get health quotes, you press one button and you have all your employees' data. We can house things like t-shirt sizes, uniform, gluten allergies, all of those things in this system. You want to send out Christmas cards, now you don't have to worry about getting everyone's home address. You press one button, mail merge it, you've got Christmas cards done. Trust me, they'll give you a half hour per employee if you're going to take the burden of that off of them. And now when there's a new hire, you don't call me because the new hire needs enrolled in Aflac. You call me because the new hire's information needs put in the system. So when you get a new hire, they need to bring me their resume, they need to bring me spousal information, they need to bring me what their salary is gonna be, and I'll build the system for them. Yes?
If this is a new thing, why did they trust you to do all this?
Say that again?
If this is a new thing, you come in and you've said, oh, this year we're more employer focused. We've got this thing, and we'll do all the things you just talked about. Why would they trust you to do it? Why wouldn't they look at you and say, well, how do I know you guys are gonna do it? I mean, aren't you gonna goof it up? Aren't you gonna make it more difficult for me? How do they trust, why do they trust them?
Okay, so first of all, if you're gonna do this, you go to the accounts that you know trust you first. Just please, don't ever test Everwell on an account that kinda doesn't like you. You test Everwell on the account that bear hugs you when you walk through the door. Whoever sent you a Christmas card, go to them first, because of the whole habits and you not being familiar with it. You will be the slowest you'll ever be in the first group you do this in. You need it to be a group that won't kick you out if you take too long. Now, when it comes to the trust, that's a whole different topic. So if they don't trust you or our company for whatever reason, I'm probably not gonna show them Everwell. I'm not gonna show them something unless I've rebuilt that trust. And rebuilding that trust probably takes something more than just a new tool that comes along, or maybe not. Maybe that new tool is the thing they need to trust you. Maybe part of the trust has come from something else.
I mean, the trust could be there, but I'm concerned about, it's not a core competence. It's not what they see as our core competence.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. I don't want them to know what we do, because that's the reason why I'm coming by to talk to you. The problem is they know exactly what we do. We are an insurance company that helps employees. And every time we walk through the door, they're thinking, you have nothing for me, not interested. Now, that's not what they say out loud, but that's where the objections, 99% of employer objections come from them not seeing value in what you bring to their business. They think of you as a vendor for their employees. And you get the same objections that prepaid legal gets, that the telephone company gets, that the photocopier You think you're the sixth Aflac person is their go-to objection for you? No, that's their go-to objection. You're the sixth cable TV company to call on me today. Because it comes down to value.
Well, oddly enough, it's the duck that gives you, credibility with them to get to, that will open up the door when you say, I have a tool to make your business work better outside of just the insurance.
Yeah, listen, we've done a great job in the last 50 years building up the brand of Aflac. When I started 12 years ago, I could walk through the door and say, I'm Matt with Aflac, and they'd go, who? Today, you walk through the door and you say you're Matt with Aflac, you're gonna get the same response. Okay. Voluntary insurance, Fortune 500, good morning, maybe you can help me out. Sensible employee enhancements, I know exactly who you are. Because we've done a good enough job in the marketplace over the last 12 years. The problem is, and I was gonna talk about this at the end, but I'm gonna talk about it right now. So, you all run a business, right? Do you look at yourself as a business owner running your own individual organization? If not, that's okay. I would say the best part of the way I started Aflac was I was too stupid to know that I was running a business, so I just did what I was told. And somehow that made me successful. That's what you get for being 23 and starting Aflac young. You think your district is your boss, and there's no attitude of you're not my real dad, you can't tell me what to do. Show up to work at 8, okay? How many calls should I make today? Okay. How many appointments do I need to set? Okay. Like, I never objected to that.
Smart thing to do.
But if you're running a business, how long have you been in business? You've been in business for 19 years. How many companies have been in business for 19 years and ran their operation the exact same way they did when they started 19 years ago? Think about it. My daughter's 8 right now. There are companies that 10 years ago, you couldn't walk out the door without hearing or seeing from, that my daughter doesn't know what they are. If I asked my daughter what Blockbuster was, no clue. No clue. But as early as 6 years ago, we all still had the little blue thing on our keychain. And what, $70 of late fees outstanding. We just kept going to a different Blockbuster and changing our address. They went out of business and we were like, thank you. Did you know that Blockbuster was first approached to put kiosks out there like Redbox?
Wow.
They turned it down. They said, no, it'll never work. And did you know that after Redbox became popular, Blockbuster tried it? Do you remember that? It only lasted a few months. They built Blockbuster kiosks, and nobody went to them. They all went to Redbox. They already had Redbox accounts. They were already using it, so Blockbuster went out of business.
And nobody goes to Redbox, they all go right to Netflix,
That's why
right
they
on their
go over
TV.
Redbox. Yeah.
Just hit that little smart button on their phone.
What's the
Or on
problem?
their TV.
What did they not do? They didn't adapt to their marketplace. They said, nope, what I do worked 10 years ago, it should continue to work. What about Kodak? Anybody remember walking through Walmart? The very first thing that would be there is the Kodak department that you buy all your film from, you can get cameras from, you can develop your film there. Remember that?
How about the
Remember
little Kodak
Kmart?
booths? They
Yeah,
used to just have
just
them right in
drop
the
it
parking
off.
lot and drive through.
Yep. Where's Kodak now?
They still produce some stuff, but it's like
Print pictures.
1/100th of the size.
Kodak is one of the top profitable businesses in America right now. You know why? They did adapt. What are they now? Instagram. Kodak started Instagram. They said, why aren't people buying our film? Because they're doing it all on their phones. Okay, let's make an app for that. They made Instagram.
They
And now
also
they're a
made-
multi-billion-dollar company. Why? Because they took the market, they took their audience, and they adapted.
They also make some of the finest SD cards and other storage devices for photographers.
It's all about adaptability. Are you adapting your business? Or are you working in a marketplace like it's 2005? And that's a lot of what I'm talking about today, is that to have an impactful conversation, you have to know your audience. And you don't need to know your audience like you knew your audience, you need to know your audience like it's 2017. This is why I love going with people to annual account audits, because I, for the most part, don't know the account. And that should be how everybody approaches an account. I don't care if you've been best friends with them for 20 years. You should walk through that annual account audit like it's your first time through the door. Go through without a bias, without any preconceived notions, and just ask questions. My doctor sees me once a year. She knows me inside and out. She knows all my surgeries. She knows all my past blood pressure readings. She knows everything. But she still starts the exact same way. What's happened in the last year? What's changed? What's new? Anything I should know about? She doesn't just say, I'm assuming everything's the same as it was last year, so we good? Maybe some of your doctors are that way. That's why that thing's sticking out of your neck, but other than that, okay. Everyone's looking around, we got a thing sticking out of the neck. So I'm gonna show you guys Everwell. But I'm gonna show it to you as I show it to an employer, and I'm gonna show you how I show the employer the need for Everwell. At the very end, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you why it would not be a fit for certain employers, but that's okay. For every employer it's not a fit for, there's an employer out there that needs it. Are you gonna